Hello. Welcome, my friends out there on YouTube. Welcome to the 7th segment of the Rigel Show, also known as Rigel's mystical driftwood fort on the sandy beach of the cosmic navel, where song runs through all of reality. We are coming to you on this day, Friday, April 11th, the day before my 44th birthday. Yes, I am turning 44 tomorrow. And, just letting that reality sink in at this moment. We're coming to you live from the Earth Dome in my backyard, which is basically just a hole I started digging in the ground and then putting dirt in bags, piling those bags on top of each other with a little barbed wire in between each row. Maybe I am a pile of dirt bags with a little barbed wire, just holding it all together, Okay. On with the preamble, on with the vision. Okay. Just doing a little visioning session here. If you are out there, please say a little hello in the chat. Feel free to, you know what? I'm going to even put a link here in the chat. I'm going to cast a vision for you for what this space is all about. Okay. And then I'm going to pin that so you can just jump on in here with me. All right. Vision casting. This space is a playful Theotokian riparian zone that seeks to integrate traditional values, modern values, progressive postmodern values, and that which is emerging on the horizon of the evolution of culture and consciousness. What we might call postmodern values doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but I also like kind of developmental consciousness, integral consciousness. Hello, evolving soul. Good to see you, my brother. We are the narthex, where the aromas of the secular and the incense of the sacred interpenetrate one another in a perichoretic dance, where self-expression and self-sacrifice twirl together and maybe even give each other a little smooch on the lips. Okay. What we're talking about is bringing these positive polarities, these positive opposites together, like masculine and feminine, freedom and stability, horizon and home. Today, I'm going to enter the cosmic navel with a little bit of music. Okay. There'll be music here. I'm going to add my fingers to the stage. Oh, there's Rigel's fingers. It's like I'm over here and my fingers are over here. Okay. It's all happening at the same time. Technology. All right. So today, I actually am starting with a little melody idea that kind of came to me a few days ago, and I'm just going to play around with it for 5 minutes. So I'm going to set that timer. Before I do, I'm just going to double check and make sure that the piano is working here. So I'm going to set that timer before I do. I'm just going to double check and make sure that the piano is that working. Oh, yep, there it is. All right, we can just kind of turn that off now. Got my timer set, and let's plunge into the cosmic navel. Okay, this is the melody idea that I had. And that's it. That's where we're that's our launching point. And if you want to come join me, just click the link and I'll let you in. All right, that's about time. That's about time. Okay. So, here we are. Hanging out. Anyone want to join in? Okay. Well, I'm gonna share some things, little clips I've been watching. Oh, we got someone coming in here. Okay. Oh, Rick. All right. Here we go.
Nice, nice.
Nice to see you, Rick. Thanks for sparing me from myself.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful music. I just bought a portable keyboard about 4 months ago, and I'd always wanted to learn how to play. And I thought, well, I'm 75. That's kind of, I don't know. And then I just thought, you know what? I just need to go ahead and do it. So I was watching your fingers very closely.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Um,
that was
well,
beautiful.
I can here I'll show you. I'm going to show you something that I show just about every student that I've taught. Real
Okay.
quick, okay? This is a really fun, beautiful exercise, and you'll be able to go back and watch this video. But
Yeah.
basically, do you know where the key of the C note is?
Yeah, like I've learned first position and then
Yeah.
C D
Okay.
E minor.
All you have to do is know how to find the C note,
Yeah.
because it's this is not, you don't have to know any of the notes. All you have to do is just watch my fingers and copy the pattern.
Okay.
I call this the crab walk. Okay.
Okay.
And basically you start with your thumb on C, the next finger, you skip a note and you go to the next note. That's an E. And then you skip a note and you go to the next note. That's my third finger. That's going to be the G. And then we're going to leave our fourth finger out of this. Fourth finger is just doesn't have to do this work today.
Okay.
Fourth finger doesn't love
No.
playing with keys. It's kind of like, can you just leave me out of this in
Yeah.
general? So then the pinky goes on this note, and that's B, right? So we
Right.
have, and so all you're doing is the first movement is to bring the top two fingers just down, one white note. So you go from here, these top two fingers come down to here,
Okay.
okay? And then the bottom two fingers go down.
Ah,
And then the top two fingers come down.
come down.
And then
Okay.
the bottom fingers go down, top come down. It's called the crab walk. So you're just going like open, closed, open, closed, open, closed,
Sounds
open, closed, open.
sounds good already.
No, it's beautiful. I've actually had students like tear up
Yeah.
while doing this, because they're like, I've never played anything so beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
Sweet.
yeah, and it even tells a story. Okay, so the left hand, this is intermediate to advanced. The left hand starts with the right hand in that open position. The left hand starts on a C as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah.
And then the pinky goes with the next chord, which is going to be on the F. So the left hand is just walking down, just going walk, 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 walk,
Ah,
walk. That's all it's doing. It's just following with the chords. And this is a lot for your brain to keep track of. Like it adds CPU load like real quick if your fingers aren't used to doing this.
that's
But
what
you
I
just go
need.
slow. Yeah, you just go slow and you just walk down. You know, and it tells kind of a story. Like it starts out at home, we're at home, and then still kind of homey, but then we run into some rough weather. Maybe we're out in our boat and things are getting a little dicey out there, and the storm's coming and we can't see the shore anymore. All we see is like the waves. We're like longing for that warm fire. We're remembering the warm fire back at home.
Yeah.
And then the crashing wave like just knocks us about, and we're like starting to despair. But then right at the last moment, like we catch a glimpse, like the waves just stop a little bit, and we see through the clouds. There's the harbor just like right in front of us. and it turns out like we're already back at home.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Thank you so much.
That's the crab walk.
I wish I was closer. I'd take some lessons.
Hey,
But
well,
yeah, this is good. Yeah, thank you.
start somewhere. Start somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Cool.
how are you doing, Rick? What's
Oh, I'm always pretty good. Yeah, I'm great. Thank you. I've been, let's see, I watched Steve on Developmental yesterday, was it?
Yeah, was that yesterday? No, that
The
was Wednesday.
day before, yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. Andrew Davis. I love all that stuff and philosophy. Very important, good stuff. And then I've been catching a lot of Philosophy Portal with Caudell Last. I don't know
Okay.
if you're,
Not
yeah,
familiar.
yeah. He What happened was he got Christian Baxter on as a guest, and Caudell is doing a 2 month series on Christianity in transition.
Hmm.
And if you Caudell charges about $50 to be a member of his philosophy portal, but for $4.99 you can sign up as a $5 level patron of Christian Baxter, and that gave me access to what they're doing at Philosophy Portal.
Hmm.
And it's basically Christian atheism, if that's not a mind bender. How about you?
Interesting. Christian atheism.
Yeah.
I had a good friend back in the day when I first moved to Austin. Um, he always joked about starting the Atheist Church of God, which
Wow.
I was at the time. I mean, he was with me through kind of an interesting transition in my life from kind of young high school graduate moving to Austin, just kind of experiencing a city. I'm from a very small town. And we were both jazz musicians and we'd play music together. And I became Baptist during our friendship, had a born again experience.
All right.
And he was there to challenge me on
Mm,
every level. He was very philosophical.
mm.
Um, don't need a Dulio, but I think I get a little bit more where he's coming from with the Atheist Church of God. But I don't know what does Christian atheism kind of mean
Well,
in this context?
yeah, you know, it's pretty complicated, really. It's sort of Peter Rollins, pyrotheology. Uh, I don't know if you've heard Luke Thompson talk about Peter Rollins.
I know I've heard him mention him, but I haven't actually like looked him up.
Yeah, it's not big in the corner, and basically what it's downstream from Hegel, the
Okay.
philosopher Hegel,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't pronounce his name. Zizek uh,
Mm-hmm.
is a philosopher that Rigel, I mean not Rigel, but Cadell Last is into it. But basically, it revolves around the idea of the death of God on the cross.
Mm-hmm.
So their sort of philosophy is that God died on the cross and sort of exited, left the realm, and what we're left with is the Holy Spirit.
Hmm.
And the Holy Spirit, according to these guys, is going to lead us into communism or socialism. So, in other words, institutional Christianity has kind of missed the boat by aligning with capitalism and empire, and using this death of God theology, we can move past that and get into uh, doing like kind of like more what I believe like what Jesus was talking about was loving each other and taking care of each other. And but like I said, it's pretty complicated, and I don't think it has wheels.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, there is. Um, I love my capitalism. I mean, there's something just very American about bootstrapping and
Yeah,
making a better life for myself.
sure.
Um, and but like the way Christ talks about um, kind of our relationship with our neighbor is pretty radical. It's like challenges. I mean, he criticizes more rich people in the New Testament than I think any other sin. It's like those who covet money.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, so but part of it is like, I don't know. I feel like it needs to be voluntary. There needs to be a voluntary aspect to whatever communal economy that we enter into.
Yeah, I agree about capitalism. I think it's pretty humanly natural. It's like that
Hmm.
way we can work hard and, produce and get ahead and all that. What I have a problem with is unregulated capitalism on a systemic level.
Hmm.
It's like we don't have a choice about the economy. It's like we're not free to do what we want to do. We're living in a system. So I believe the system should be tweaked to make it more socialist.
Hmm.
That's just my take on it. And that comes from my Christian values.
Yeah, yeah. That's and things may not be tweaked. They may just be either unaltered or kind of a reset button. I mean, I feel like they're, in trying to understand um, the MAGA like mindset and um, kind of entering into this space of feeling like, I mean, I think I've felt this before, like the system is rigged against me.
Hmm.
Um, and as someone, I grew up in kind of a socioeconomic place where um, either I didn't realize the kind of advantages that I had and all the resources and tools that I had, and so um, I didn't pursue like the standard kind of American dream path of like going to college and getting multiple degrees and just working my way up through the system like that. Um, and partially, maybe my brain just can't handle that, and I need to just be digging trenches, which is
Nothing
kind of
wrong with that.
nothing wrong with that.
Get your hand, yeah, work out that body.
Yep, just filling bags with dirt,
Yeah.
you know.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there, I don't know. I think I heard, was it? I don't know. I was listening to a podcast yesterday with like Pete Buttigieg and God, what's a comedian? I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
he does
think I
like the
know.
Late Show.
Yeah.
It's slipping my brain right now. But they that phrase I think came out just describing like this feeling that the system is kind of rigged and like I don't have a way out, and so my only response is to like tear the system down. I mean, it's almost like a form of terrorism. Um,
Toward you or against them?
well, against the people who are, I'm putting myself in that position, and
Hmm.
if I am feeling like the system is rigged and I have no way out, um, you know, I do what my 9-year-old does, which is like find the crack and just pound away until I break.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so maybe that's part of it's a natural response to want to just start over. But I don't know if actually starting over is possible.
Yeah. I don't think like revolution in the sense of tearing it all down is a productive idea. That just creates a lot of conflict. But um, MAGA to me is the opposite of the kind of socialism that I'm talking about. I'm talking about healthcare, free college, uh, bringing bringing the rich down and bringing the
Hmm.
bottom up,
Hmm.
um, taking care of the environment. This is to me, this is like a serious issue. And MAGA and all that, they want to do more coal and just the opposite of what I think we need. So, and the Democrats, the Democratic Party, it's like they're so hand in glove with corporations that they're not a whole. They're better, but not completely better. I'm more like a
Hmm.
Bernie bro,
Yeah.
and so I mean, when I was I'm 75, so when I was 20, I could go to University of California for $1,000 a year.
Mm.
Now it's like 50 grand a year, and people can't afford to buy a house. I mean, it's not working.
Yeah.
I don't think it's working. I mean, it's working for the rich, but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So uh, politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't help but be involved.
Yes. Um, yeah. For me, I've just been I've missed seeing you and Sherry and any of the other folks kind of chiming in the chat the last
Yeah,
few weeks. I was away in New Mexico.
yeah. How was that? Was it good weather or bad weather?
It was beautiful. I mean,
Oh, good.
we had some good days and some kind of insane dust storm, snowstorm days that I
Wow.
have never experienced before.
Yeah.
Um, but I had a little bit of a breakthrough there with our electrical system.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if I had mentioned, but it's an off grid tiny house that we have there, and we're slowly developing it. Like each time I go out there, I spend a couple days working on something.
Yeah.
Whether it's like you know laying the foundation or putting up walls or like putting on a roof. It's
Mm-hmm.
I can do things in 3 day chunks, and
Mm-hmm.
then I go away for 4 months and then come back again. And we had decided that the next step was to tie into the grid.
Oh.
Um, but it would be super expensive. Like
Mm.
just all the little extra money that we might have to put towards kind of adding onto the structure or doing little things that you can see and appreciate and make life fun out there
Yeah.
would just go into this like transformer. You have to buy your own transformer.
Mm.
So
Is that because you're trying to tie in solar with the grid?
no, you're so
Or
basically the grid. There's high voltage that comes like right to the property,
uh,
um, and but you have to step down the voltage from like I
sure.
don't know 10,000 volts down to like 240 or something, so it's
Yeah.
usable. And that device, that transformer, costs 10 grand,
Wow. Yeah.
and it's like we were like thinking about doing it. So I met the power company out there, and then I was just like, I was having an issue with our solar out there that I
Yeah.
could not figure it out. It wasn't, there's this little like breaker, GFCI breaker thing that was flipping every time I connected it to the house. So I couldn't really power the structure. I could just power like an extension cord. And
Mm.
we need to be able to run an air conditioner so that
Ah.
when we're on our Zoom calls, we're not like sweating our buns off in the summer.
Yeah.
Because I got to be able to run my Rigel show,
Yeah.
from the property, and my wife needs to be able to. She's on Zoom all day. It's
Oh,
crazy how many Zoom calls she has. So we
wow.
need to have a setup that works.
Sure.
Um, and I went out there. Okay. Oh, this is my touch with nature and the cosmos. Okay. So I was walking to the property to like see if I could just troubleshoot the system. I'm gonna take apart the electrical panel, and um, I like come up over the hill. We're staying in an Airbnb just right around the corner. I come up over the hill and I see a hawk just
Mm,
like soaring above our property, and I was
mm,
like, "Oh, hello, hawk. What do you have for me?"
yeah.
And I, dove into the panel. I took all of the wires apart, tested each circuit to see which one was like maybe having an issue. I'm on with Chat GPT and like flipping through YouTube videos, and I figure out that I am missing a screw. I need to like, there's one screw that I need to connect,
uh,
and that bonds like the neutral to the ground. It's something that if I had just called an electrician, he would have been like, "Oh yeah, just do this," and that's your issue.
sure.
Um, so 2 years of like latent, gentle despair, and YouTube and AI, and the hawk. Okay,
The
can't
hawk.
forget the hawk.
Yeah.
I figured it out, and the system came on, and I went and like purchased a window unit to test, make sure that it's going to run AC, and it kicked on. And so now we're going to save a bunch of money. I mean, just spent a bunch of money now to get a higher level solar system going.
Yeah.
And I'm testing it out here in my driveway in Austin. But
Yeah.
I think this is a huge change in direction, because if we can go solar,
Yeah.
like the trickle down effect of like what we want this property to be about is so much closer to the vision.
Yeah.
Once you tie into the grid, you're like, you're opening yourself up to like intense scrutiny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like everything has to be like by the book.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations. Yeah.
anyways, that was a long-winded little
No,
update on that.
I agree. I think you're totally, the best situation is to have your solar and you can
Mhm.
tweak that and add to it.
Yeah.
And now you've got the base, what you need. So yeah, that's fantastic. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, one of my visions for this land is for it to be a place of experimentation and kind of like a little bit rugged, a little bit off,
Yeah.
like everything in Austin is a 2 hour delivery from like a tap on my phone for anything that I possibly want.
Mm,
It will
yeah.
arrive at my front door, and that is the life that my child is just going to be accustomed to.
Yeah.
And so I feel this like need to instill some sort of connection with the natural world, and maybe just a little bit of suffering for the sake of
Yeah.
I don't know if suffering is the right word, but
Well, yeah.
inconvenience.
Yeah. Yeah. Inconvenience. Well, you know, having both available to you and your family is really fantastic. I mean, that way, we can't deny the computer age and all the technology that we're in, but on the other hand, we need to get out and get our feet in the sand.
Yeah.
And you've got your sandbag deal there. I always wanted to do one of those, but I'm just a little too old. Well, I don't know. I'm not too old, but uh, I'm enjoying my little manufactured home that is on the about 2 blocks from the beach on the Oregon coast, and looking forward to spring here, getting a little warmer so I can get in the water and do a little surfing.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that sounds lovely.
yeah.
Hmm.
There was a. I was looking for some notes I took. There's a church in Austin
Mm-hmm.
that uh, that I wanted to point out to you, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I can find it. It's kind of like it starts off with Austin like Austin Direction or something like that. And basically, what it is progressive. Used to be evangelicals, so I'll call them ex-evangelicals. And one guy is David Moses Perez,
Okay.
and he's on YouTube. And he used to be a mega church pastor. And then he had a conversation with this fellow that runs a church in Austin, and kind of like Austin Direct or something like that. And but David Moses Perez, I remember his name for sure. And you know, I guess my project is to bring is to kind of move the ball forward, like you're talking about. Develop, your channel is a place where the past and the present and the future can come together, and that's kind of my project too. Is to move the ball down the court toward a more open and affirming Christianity. And so these guys really inspired me.
What do you do? You've talked a little bit about your situation out on the coast, but like, how do you manifest that out
Well,
where
yeah,
you are?
yeah, I'm really fortunate to have found a church, United Church of Christ. I've mentioned it before, UCC, and it's a congregational church. So that means the pastor is going to set the tone for what's going on, and the board of directors. And so my pastor and the UCC church that I go to, it's open and affirming. That means, it's like maybe 1/4 of our 100 members is gay and lesbian or trans, and they're married or maybe not. And we big focus on social justice, very woke. I mean, I hate what the right has done to the word woke,
Yeah.
which to me just means to be aware of all the issues.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I go there, every Sunday, and like our pastor will talk about historical critical method of understanding the Bible. Like we take the Bible seriously, but not literally. So that's really good for me. But most of the people in there are not interested in, like, I would say, theosis. They're kind of like satisfied with where they're at. There are some people, like I've developed a friendship with one guy who he and his wife read the Bible every morning in Greek and Hebrew.
Wow.
So he's taught me how to pronounce some of the Greek letters, and if there's like a scripture that we're dealing with, we'll meet after the sermon on Sunday, and we'll talk about, well, what is that word? What are the other meanings that word might have? That special word in the scripture that sort of everything revolves around. And then this YouTube is just fantastic. I mean, it's like getting a higher degree. It's like going to college from the convenience of your living room. And I'm just a knowledge nerd, a theology nerd. So
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of worried I'm getting like too much screen time.
Oh, totally. I'm totally with you on that. It is hard to turn it off when there's always something so good like lined up in my queue that
Yeah, yeah,
I'll press play. I'll press play on something just so that it will be in my history so that I can immediately like come back to it after I finish the thing I'm watching.
yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
But okay, back to theosis and your church and your assessment that it doesn't seem like people are interested in theosis. And so as you're understanding theosis, is this like kind of the process of becoming more godlike?
Correct.
How are you understanding? Is that how you're understanding it?
That's how, and to me that means like digging into the church fathers,
Hmm.
into as deep a history as you can. Actually, education and
Hmm.
meditation and prayer,
Hmm.
and being involved in, like, for instance, uh, what do people think about the future?
Hmm.
Is that just up to God? Like Vanderclay says, I'm not worried about it. God's going to take care of it.
Hmm.
I don't think so. I think
Hmm.
we're God's hands and feet,
Hmm.
and so it's like teleology,
Hmm.
eschatology. What do you see as a future? Are you trying to bring that future together, or are you just waiting for somebody else to do it? And it's
Yeah.
being involved in the corner is kind of a way for me to try and do that.
Yeah.
And with some like-minded people like yourself and Luke and stuff, but I'm sort of an outsider. I get the feeling that a lot of the corner is kind of fundamentalist.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit of an outsider as well. Um, so us outsiders, we find each other. I
That's
mean,
right.
that's the crazy thing about the corner is it's really non-hierarchical. Like, yes, there are hot spots,
Yeah,
but each hot spot has its like cool spots, cooler spots that could become hot spots. I mean, that's the thing about hot coals is like it's really interesting to 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 look at how people work and how like coals work in a fire pit. Like when you if I need to put the fire out at night, I can either just pee on the fire, which is a very common practice, and almost like
it's
a
handy.
special sacred duty. Yeah, sacred duty. Or you can just spread the coals apart and
Yeah,
the whole thing will go out.
yeah,
But if you bring them back together, it'll like light back up. Or if
yeah,
you bring like certain coals back together, they'll light back up.
yeah.
And I think that's kind of the potential of this live streaming online space is it really invites any coals to come together and light it up, let the spirit light it up.
And I should add quickly that, or succinctly, that even though I perceive the corner as being leaning conservative,
Hmm.
uh, they are open.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's sort of the what would you call it? The energy, the vibe is like, even though we may be different, we have a few ortho bros and we have a lot of Baptists and CRC, but
Hmm.
we're totally what do you call it? Hospitality. They're
Yeah.
hospitable. So that's what makes it like it's like okay. I can feel okay to come on and you know talk to Ron Copperman and Mark Barker and maybe stir the pot a little and
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I'm still thinking about theosis and kind of my relationship with theosis, which is very much a flickering little flame that I, I feel like I want to be interested in theosis, but it usually just happens when it's convenient. Like,
sure.
um, but I don't know. I mean, I think that theosis it's not just, what does theosis mean exactly? Theosis. It's
It's sort
Eastern
of like
theos.
sanctification,
Yeah,
like
deification, divinization refers to the transformative process of humans becoming like God through union with Him. Through union with Him.
yeah,
And so that's, I think that, like, I know digging in the church fathers is important. And actually, um, it's interesting how much resonance I find with some of, particularly like the mystic church fathers.
mm-hmm.
Um, that I've just been turned on to more recently. I think I've read quotes from people like Gregory of Nyssa, Maximus the Confessor, Origen, those people, but I've never actually read them. And I think I just started reading St. Gregory of Nyssa like last year. This book right here, from Glory to Glory, which is that, I don't know what Bible verse that is. It's something about,
it might be in Paul.
feels like a Paul. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
how we're moving from glory to glory. And that feels very process theology. Like we're,
yeah.
and throughout this book, like the one quote that I always glommed onto from St. Gregory of Nyssa is, concepts create idols, only wonder grasps anything. And I wasn't like, I have just adore that. Because it's a reminder to me to kind of keep my need for predictable, controllable life in check. And, you know, I mean, that's partly why I start this off with an improvised piano piece, because that makes part of me really uncomfortable. And I need to like lean into that a little bit.
Yeah,
You know,
totally. Yeah. And like Socrates says, is the unexamined life is not worth living.
Yeah.
And wonder is the beginning of wisdom. And so, and I want to say, it's not just about being bookish. To me, you know, it's about gradually over your lifetime to realizing that you're in theosis every minute of the day.
Yeah.
You know, every time I look at the trees or the ocean, you know, I see God, I see the divine, playing music, talking to people, talking to you. It's like a God consciousness that that it theosis doesn't have to be reified like a thing. You know, it can be just an awareness and trying to be Christ-like, and that's a challenge. That's what's it's good. It's takes us higher and higher.
Yeah. And on those, the edges of these transition moments from one stage of development or, one stage of awareness to the next are these like membranes of discomfort and conflict. And I think that's also a point of deep theosis is being through conflict with people, leaning into a relationship and also allowing the conflict to happen and while leaning in. I mean, this is what I learned from our couples therapist was like how to like literally physically lean my body towards the person I am in conflict with. And that I think that can be really healing.
Yeah, because it's all about relationships, really, isn't it? It's like it's a energy that as you lean in, you kind of become each other. I saw a little quote just today or yesterday on YouTube, and it said, "You can only know yourself through others."
I like that. Leaning in, you become each other. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what love making takes you there.
Yeah. Yeah. It does.
Takes me there. And that's I want to throw in a little anti-Peterson here. That's what I really dislike about Peterson is his whole thing is based on individualism.
Yeah.
And I don't think he gets it.
Yeah.
I know he's
Yeah.
helped people, and that it makes me feel like really ambiguous. It's like I know he's helped people, and I appreciate that, but I think he's driving a lot of cattle into the wrong chute.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ambivalent about him because I think there's a place for individualism in the journey of someone who's maybe hasn't broken out on their own yet, or
Mm-hmm.
hasn't kind of learned how to stand up and make their own bed. I mean, that's his whole thing, is like the whole metaphor of making your bed is this fractal of like, taking responsibility for your life.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I mean, every time I hear Jordan Peterson talk now, I just cringe a little bit
Yeah.
because I'm like, what
He's
happened to
gotten
the?
cringe. Yeah.
It's gotten really cringe, um, and so maybe he may be kind of winding down in his whole influence. Um,
I hope
I don't know.
so.
I hope so. I hope something new emerges because there are a lot of people who I think have been helped by him.
Yeah.
He's helped me. I mean, there's actually things that, particularly, I mean, this was like probably 8 years ago. I went through my Jordan
Yeah.
Peterson phase,
Yeah.
um, and there were like relationship pieces of advice that were really helpful, that I use today. Some of his examples about play and making sure that you don't become like the bully in play, because then what happens is people just not, they don't want to play with you anymore. and I
Right.
and I explain that to my son, and this is like, these are good. So
Yeah.
I've soaked up some good stuff, but there's, sorry, I've got a cold. um he's gone a little too far,
Too
and
far to
right.
the right. Too far to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually, just like most everybody here, I found PVK through Peterson on the internet maybe 6 years ago, and what drew me to him was his debates with Sam Harris.
Mm.
And I've always enjoyed a good debate between a theist and a scientist,
Mm-hmm.
and so I thought he did a really good job of pointing out that scientists have a theology of their own, and it's sort of an unexamined theology, or I should say philosophy. And
Mm-hmm.
so I enjoyed that. And then I somehow found Vanderklay doing stuff about Peterson, but it
Mm-hmm.
didn't, as soon as he got in the conflict at the college in Toronto about not wanting to use pronouns,
Mm-hmm.
not wanting to be forced to use pronouns that people prefer, I thought, man, dude, how hard is that? I mean, you're a teacher and somebody wants to be called she, him or whatever. It's like, I've been a
Yeah.
teacher for a couple of years and it's not that hard, but he made a
Yeah.
big deal about it. And anyway, that's a whole, I don't want to
Yeah.
get negative here.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you heard from Sherry, but I saw that PVK is having the
Yes.
Friday, whatever you call it,
His thing.
yeah, roundtable or
Yeah.
and I saw a picture of Sherry there, as maybe possibly inferring that she was a guest. So,
Yeah.
I think you might get a lot more participation if you had a different time slot.
Yeah. I know. I'm thinking about that. Part of it is, this is
What works
just,
for you? Yeah.
this is like my kind of day off.
Uh huh.
Um, and so, where I don't have like family responsibilities where I'm having to like check in or be interrupted. So,
Yeah.
but it may be worth, reevaluating that at some point. Maybe an evening slot could work at some point.
Yeah, because I
Um,
think there's a real hunger for it
yeah.
from the corner people. I mean, there must be hundreds of corner people, and I know I like to hang out with Mark Parker. And
Yeah.
last time I was watching, he had like nine people on there, and I couldn't get a word in edgewise. I didn't even jump on, but just throwing it out there. And another thing about theosis,
Mm.
you're a householder right now. You know, I mean, when I was a householder, I wasn't concentrating on theosis so much. I was concentrating on making enough pottery to make it to the next month. You know?
Yeah. Well, and that is, I mean, I think that is, like you said, that is the part, all part of the process of theosis.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, the idea that theosis is just something that kind of I do on my own, is
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
doesn't feel, um, that doesn't feel true. That
Right.
feels like a little bit of escapism.
Yeah, maybe something out of the past, like the Desert Fathers. You know, we don't
Right.
need to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe go into our closet for a half an hour when we can.
Hmm.
But you know, it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would be actually interested in catching some of the PVK roundtable,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it's still going on.
It
So,
probably will 2 or 3 hours. What do they call that? Estuary. Yeah.
estuary. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe we'll sign off and
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. And then head over there
yeah,
and
see what's going on.
see what's going on.
Make some trouble. Good trouble.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun chatting with you a little bit about theosis. I think that's going to be an ongoing topic over
Sounds
here.
good. Yeah. Thanks, Rigel.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay.
And find the crab walk when
Yes,
you
definitely.
rewatch this.
Yeah, I got to do that. I've been like missing a week. You know, I'll play and then for a couple days and then I'll miss a week and I forget everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because I'm so new. But
I
thanks.
feel you.
I'll rewind that and check it out.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Have
Love
a
you,
good one,
brother.
Rick. You
Yeah.
too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.